All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Symphogear, Season 3, Episode 10. You know, it takes a real man to be a villain.
Yes, it does.
Verily, I say.
Verily, you doth declare that it's time for the Dakka to return.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Wait. He's Doctor Who? Who?
Ver.
Yeah, Doctor.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair. As far as decisions,
It's just you can always count on him to come back, you know.
you can, but like
I still remember the voice acting for when he just
when I think of like epic villain, when I think of villains that you bring back into a story after they're defeated, it's because they're an epic, awesome, badass villain, right? Not because they're the super pathetic villain, right? But I guess that works, right?
I'm like, bro, do you remember reading One Piece and where all the villains came back as protagonists eventually? Like,
Caleb, the fuck are you talking about? Are you telling me Buggy was not an epic, amazing villain? What? You didn't fear the Buggy Ball? But point is, Ver with his right hand will indeed, I don't know, continue his
beat off these girls. Yeah.
Basically, like, okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And then take humanity to new heights.
Right. Yes.
So, without further ado, let's ascend with him. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right, we've got ourselves a villain team-up. A hero and villain team-up.
That's right.
That's true. Chris had a really sweet character moment in this episode, getting a lot of opportunity to focus on her parents, which was really interesting.
Doubting
how
the
that's going to be brought up
hand-holding.
potentially more into the story in the future.
It's just the theme of parents that, we have throughout the season so far.
Yeah, it's interesting. That being said, we have Carol just flexing on them, saying like, yeah,
it's Elf9.
She's been...
Too late. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can't do anything about it. We won.
And it might be a thing of where she was trying to sow discord amongst them by basically saying, at this point, the only thing she can really be for me anymore is a nuisance because she could actually give them more info.
Right.
But if I try and out her as the spy, basically, then it's a thing of where they might no longer want her with them.
Yeah, and that could just cause issues. Yeah.
That could cause issues for her.
Right.
But they're like, nope, we're glad that it wasn't really yours, so cool. And then she's like, well, fine, okay.
Right.
So
who cares if you keep giving them information?
Carol is moving things forward. She's gotten everything that she wants.
Yep.
With Chris now having used the Ignite module.
Right.
That is the final one that she probably needs.
I believe
at this
so.
point.
Yeah. Because there were the two before that were completely destroyed before this new Carol homunculi came about, and then Tsubasa just dealt with one, and then now all the auto scorers have been defeated. Yep.
And used in that way.
Right.
So now we'll see what the grand ritual will end up being, because they've got a gigantic mecha score thing.
I mean, hell yeah, I love it.
Let's go, yeah.
Right, like
we get an everyone on one fight, kind of thing. That would
be pretty awesome. I mean, and that is kind of par for the course with a lot of the things that Symphogear has done for its finale so far. And given that the cast just keeps getting bigger, then that means that stuff can just keep getting more epic.
Yeah,
cool.
And yet, we still got a couple episodes before the finale. We're not.
We still
not there
do.
Yet.
We still do. Yeah. And given that even though the Ignite module was all part of Carol's master plan, song is upgraded. So there you go. Right. We have these new badass designs.
Also, for whatever reason, I just couldn't take my eyes off of Chris's lyrics because they were fucking hilarious.
They were awesome.
Awesomely badass.
But then at the same time, there were things being said that were awesome at the same time. So it was wait, which subtitles do I look at?
I was just doing this and reading both,
And then at the same time, then in the midst of that, it's the, a fight is happening. So there's a visual spectacle there as well. Yeah.
The girls wanted to keep Dr. Vera alive so they could have the opportunity to have more Linker made, but like, so yes, but like. You can get him without necessarily killing him, but that doesn't mean you restrain the other.
Well, to be fair, it's one of those funny things of like, wait, we're in an underwater facility, we're at the bottom of the ocean, don't fight, this could be bad. Why didn't you send the person with the sword then instead of the person with the missiles and the explosives? Like, you could have...
You literally, like, made this dumber for yourselves.
Right.
And it was just funny that Genjiro was the one that was bringing this up when he's obviously the one in charge of, like, sending people to different places and stuff.
Yeah, like, or even if you needed Tsubasa to go, you know, like,
with her family and stuff.
You have Maria go here.
Like, right.
You know, like, yeah, but it's great.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hibiki is going to give her dad, well, not necessarily another chance, but she's going to see him again.
She's going to go see him.
And I get the feeling that's the I'm going to go see
closure.
Right, exactly, a closure thing, which I'm all for.
I'm
awesome.
all for that, yeah.
Yep. And seeing amidst all of the spectacle, chaos, craziness that's happening, having a quiet moment between Hibiki and Miku, I really appreciate that because we don't often get those, to the chagrin and suffering of Miku. Yep. So having something like that, despite the fact that there's all this craziness happening in the show, that was cool.
I love it.
That was cool.
Yeah. Also, Kiraka and Shirabe continue to be fantastic characters in the way that they're utilized.
Oh, yeah.
I really feel like they're one of the stronger aspects in a kind of a surprise fashion with regards to Symphogear's characters. And using them in combination with Chris here was really cool to lead to that really powerful emotional moment of them.
Right. And what this makes me think is, because, okay, am I on the shipping train with any of these characters? No, not necessarily.
No,
but maybe.
Baka, no,
but
like
maybe.
I want to ship them or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, I am kind of, I suppose, a part of the Chris Tsubasa ship. So, the idea that then she has this whole struggle of like, wait, how do I act around my kohai, right? Because she's wanting to like put on like the strong face, and I can do it. It's fine. You can depend on me, right? And then that didn't end up going well, and it's like, wait, maybe no, you can depend on them a bit. That feels very similar to the lessons that Tsubasa was learning about, like, hey, am I just a sword? What's this whole deal? And you know, how do I deal with that? And then maybe the two of them could talk about it. It could be like, you know what? I think I understand, you know, the struggle of being a senpai a little bit better now.
Okay.
But
I really liked Carol in this episode. I honestly think that
Carol was pretty great.
Carol, seeing her kind of more of her human side here and with the previous episodes, I think is a really good thing. Carol has felt a bit too like removed as a antagonist, so I never saw her really struggle. And now that we're seeing her like having to struggle, overcome some things, kind of figuring out this whole situation with Dr. Ver.
Yep.
And then utilizing the auto score, and then kind of making a bit of a pride move with regards to talking about Elf9 in this way. I feel like I'm beginning to understand Carol a lot more, but we also kind of need this like really quickly because we're about to have her, be starting the first steps of enacting her day of reckoning, you know,
super plan. And this episode actually showcased for me why Ver is not just coming back into the story. It's not just a hilarious idea, but it's actually a really good idea. One of the things that I was worried about in the previous episode is that he would kind of end up upstaging them, given that he was showing up and saving Carol from, you know, that whole thing. But two, it was established that no, don't expect that to happen often. That was just for the dramatic entrance, because then he immediately hides behind her when she puts up the force field, which is great. Because like, yes, that was stuff that I liked about Dr. Ver is still there, right? Right. But then on top of that, if all the auto scores are gone, she needs someone to play off of, right? Okay. Because otherwise she'd just be by herself. And yes,
oh my gosh,
right? And if she's in a situation where it's the yes, my plan is perfect, right? That's cool and all, but like we need to be able to get that perspective on Carol, and it would be hard to do that other than maybe through Elf9,
Which
right?
we did have this episode.
Which we did have, and that was great. I'm glad we got that. But that's something where it's like, no, Ver can absolutely serve a purpose. He is the Kronk to her Yzma. He is the parrot to Jafar, right? Like he is the familiar basically
Except
for
he has
this
no
villain.
relationship with her. So
Well, no, what are you talking about? He's a hero. She's a hero. It's
right, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. I really liked the Elf9 Carol interactions though, in the bit of a flashback that they had.
Yeah, that was great.
That was kind of uniquely placed in a way. It's kind of like, wait, but why here? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
and then just bringing up the, okay, but do you even really know why you're doing this? Do you remember our father?
Both of them are homunculi at this point.
Yeah.
Right? So,
It was a cool thing to be reminded of that Elf9 is not some kind of lesser homunculi. I think the point that's really, really unique here is that with the way it could have been interpreted was that obviously, Elf9 is a homunculi. But her name almost gives me the vibe of like, oh, she's kind of like, basic,
Right.
Whereas Carol is like has like a very specific type of body that she's using. But in this case, no, actually, Elf9 might have been just another tool in the plan, but because of the lack of using all those dank abilities, basically, there's no memory loss.
Right.
From all that stuff there.
And that makes sense in a way because it's if you want to have the person who's actually going to achieve whatever the objective is, right? You have the person who is doing that and has all the capabilities, right? But then from the standpoint of like, okay, Elf9 does have certain bits of knowledge and information that is needed, right? You keep her around and maybe also as some level of sentimentality so that way you do have someone who has memories of, the way things were, right? You keep her around as kind of like a backup, right? And if she is fair, like she would be lesser on the pecking order from the standpoint of big world domination plan or whatever, or destruction, but she has a purpose, right? And I'm curious to see if that ends up getting explored with Carol, because the original made both of you, right, with a purpose. So, what's going on there?
Do either of them actually know it? Is this going to be the kind of thing where instead of Carol getting Nakamud, Elf9 is basically the already Nakamud villain, if that makes sense?
That would be awesome if both of them did end up getting Nakamud. I feel like that could, one, play into like the fun trope of like the basically not quite twins, like archetype, since they are so very different from each other. But same basic character design, so that could make for some fun antics if they did. But yeah, Carol actually getting handhelded.
No, I think that's the thing. I don't think she's going to.
Oh, you don't think so?
Elf9 is going to.
Gotcha.
That's the point, is that she could fulfill that role.
Well, and that was kind of stated by Genjiro, right? It's okay, even if you're giving them information, that's fine. You're part of the group, right? That's not going to change just because you're being taken advantage of.
Yep, but we still need to know why, Carol. Why are you doing this?
Yep.
And we don't even know how you're doing this.
Yeah, what's the robot thing?
Yeah. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yes, if ain't that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.